Good afternoon, evening and morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us for this webinar from wherever you are today. My name is Shenda O'Hare and I will be presenting this webinar on walking and cycling the Camino de Santiago. To date, I have walked over 500 kilometers on the Camino, with plans to do more. The agenda for this presentation is to give you an overview on who we are and what we do as a company. I will then follow this with some information on what is the Camino, which will be useful for those of you that are new to the Camino and hopefully interesting to those who already know a little bit about the Camino. After this, I will take you through my recommendations for both walking and cycling the Camino. Finally, I will finish up with some advice on training and what to pack, followed by a question and answer section where we will use the chat function to answer any and all questions. Who we are. Follow the Camino is an Irish company that is part of our sister company One Foot Abroad that specialises in walking and cycling holidays throughout Europe. We were established back in 2006, so have been operating now for over 10 years. Based in Dublin, we have a growing multilingual team that enables us to effectively communicate with our service providers in Spain and beyond, and makes a nice mix of cultures working together in the office. Collectively, we have over 10,000 kilometres of experience walking and cycling the Camino, and we all actively try to get out on the Camino every year, so we are up to date as much as possible with what is happening on the ground. Our clients come from all over the world, with a growing number from outside Ireland and the UK, being from the United States of America, Canada, Australia, New Zealand and South Africa. Why not check out our independent rating on TripAdvisor to see what our clients have to say about us and our services. Finally, we work with an extensive network of hotels and service providers on the Camino and have long working relationships with them, so we know the service they provide. You will also work with a dedicated Camino planner who will get to know you so we can tailor your Camino to your needs. This experience and expertise aids us in making your Camino experience the perfect one for you. Your Camino, your way. So, how do we use our experience and expertise to make your Camino your way? Route discovery. Your dedicated Camino planner will want to get to know you so that they can match your cultural interests and fitness levels with the best route for you, be this your first Camino or not. Hotel selection. This is an important part of our offering and why people book with us. We choose accommodation based on its comfort, facilities and character, as well as the services provided by the staff and its location to the Camino, so it is easy for you to find at the end of a long day walking or cycling. Luggage transfer. This is a standard part of all our packages, and again, another reason why people book with us. For your comfort, we transfer your luggage whilst you are walking or cycling and ensure it is waiting for you at your next stop. This allows you to travel light with just a small day pack during the day, which makes the overall experience more enjoyable and doable. Holiday pack. This is the tangible part of your package that you will get before you go. Included is your Pilgrim passport, which you need to get your Pilgrim certificate or Compostela, a scallop shell, which is one of the most famous symbols of the Camino, and your luggage tags. In your client area, which is available online, you will have access to the road book for the section you are walking or cycling, as well as other useful general information related to your Camino. Finally, support. This makes up a big part of our service. We support you before, during and after your trip. Whilst on your Camino, you will have our 24/7 emergency support phone number, which you can use for any issues you have. We would rather hear about them then, no matter how small, than hear about it after the fact when we can't help. So, enough about us. Let's get to what is the Camino. History of the Camino. The Camino is one of the three main pilgrimage routes for Christians and has been walked for centuries. The Camino's end goal is to reach Santiago de Compostela, where the body of St. James the Apostle is buried in the crypt in the cathedral. The real boom for the Camino was during the Middle Ages, when it was very popular, with hundreds of thousands making this pilgrimage every year. During the 16th century, there was a major decline in the popularity of pilgrimages due to the Reformation, and also the route no longer being safe to follow due to the French Wars of Religion and Anglo-Spanish Wars. However, in the 20th century, this age-old route has been rediscovered and is constantly gaining in popularity. Today, there are 9 main routes. The most popular is the Camino Francés, which starts in Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port. We then have the Camino Portuguese, starting down in Lisbon, the Camino Portuguese coastal route from Porto, the Camino del Norte, which traverses the northern coastline along the Bay of Biscay, the Camino Primitivo from Oviedo, which takes those walking the northern route to Santiago. The shortest route is the Camino Inglés from Ferrol, that also has an option to walk from A Coruña, and the longest route, which starts in the south of Spain in Sevilla, is the Via de la Plata. Finally, we have the route in France, the Le Puy or Via Pont de Nice, which goes from Le Puy-en-Velay to Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port. And then finally, the only route that starts in Santiago, the Camino Finisterre, which goes to Finisterre. As I mentioned, the Camino is growing in popularity, and to demonstrate just how popular the Camino is, 327,378 pilgrims got their certificate in Santiago at the Pilgrim office in 2018. This, however, is not the full number that walked the Camino in 2018, as there is people who didn't get a certificate, as well as those who walked sections further back and didn't reach Santiago this year. By far, walking is the most popular way to do the Camino, with over 93% choosing this option. Cycling follows then with a mere 6% opting for this. The Camino is walked by all age groups, and the almost 55% over 30 attest to this cross-generational appeal. In regards to the routes, as I have mentioned, the Camino Francés is the most popular, with almost 57% of pilgrims choosing this route. The next most popular section is the Camino Portuguese, with just over 20%. So you will agree, a much quieter route. So now you have an idea of how popular the Camino is. Why is it so popular? Well, people walk or cycle the Camino for different reasons. These can be religious, spiritual, as an act of holiday, or an opportunity to escape from their everyday lives and get back to a simpler way of living, doing nothing but getting from A to B each day. Whatever the reason, we are here to help our clients to plan a Camino for their particular needs. How to do the Camino. Walking and cycling are your 2 main options for doing the Camino. When walking, you need to walk the last 100 kilometers in order to qualify for the Pilgrim certificate. A reasonable level of fitness will ensure that you really enjoy your journey. However, we can tailor the daily distance to suit your fitness level. Walking is by far the most sociable way to do the Camino. As you walk with others, some for just short periods and others for longer, the conversations you will have will give you more than you realise, or even allow you an opportunity to open up and share you like you might not normally. Walking lets you experience also a slower way of living. With all day to get to your destination, take your time, enjoy the scenery, stop in the cafes and churches along the way. It is not a race. Cycling. When cycling, to qualify for your Pilgrim certificate, you need to cycle the last 200 kilometers of the Camino. It is also recommended that you are a regular cyclist so that you can enjoy your Camino. You need to be familiar with dealing with a puncture or fixing the chain on your bike at the roadside, should it be needed. Cycling is not easier than walking. If you are not used to sitting on a bike saddle for hours, you will be sore. Having said this, like walking, we can tailor the daily distance to suit your fitness, and whether you are looking a more leisurely experience or challenging one. As part of our cycling packages, we include the bike hire as well as insurance. We also take care of the logistics of getting your bike to your starting point and collecting it from your end point. An advantage of cycling is the freedom to take detours off the Camino that would not be as easily accessible on foot. What we recommend. For walking, the 3 options we would recommend would be the most popular last 100 kilometers of the Camino, which has a few options. Camino short walking days for those concerned about their fitness as well as those looking a more leisurely experience. Finally then, the challenge, walking the entirety of one route, such as the Camino Frances, from start to finish in one go. For cycling, we also have 3 options. Here we recommend the Camino Frances, which we can tailor the trip to your time frame. The Camino Portuguese coastal route for a more leisurely cycle, and finally, if you were up for it, our cycling challenge. I will now give you a bit more information about these options. First walking, then followed by the cycling options. Walking the last 100 kilometers. The last 100 kilometers is the most popular as it not only qualifies you for your Pilgrim certificate, but it also ends in Santiago. So you get to experience the arrival to the cathedral, which is a momentous part of this journey. There are 6 options to walk. The most popular is the Camino Frances from Sarria to Santiago. Then the Camino Portuguese from Tui, the Camino Portuguese coastal route from Oia, the Camino Primitivo from Lugo, the Camino Inglés from Ferrol, and finally the Via de la Plata, the last section from Orense. I'll now give you a bit more detail about the Camino Frances route from Sarria to Santiago and the last section of the Portuguese route from Tui to Santiago. The Camino Frances from Sarria to Santiago is the most popular section of the Camino. This section is 115 kilometers from Sarria to Santiago that we have split on our standard itinerary into 5 days walking. We do have options, however, to split the long day you can see from Palas de Rey to Arzua with a stopover in Melide, and thus making it 6 walking days in total. If these daily distances still look too much, we also have a short walking day option where you will walk the route over 9 days at a leisurely pace of approximately 12 kilometers per day, depending on the location of accommodation. Terrain-wise, this route is hilly but doable, and hence why it is so popular. Passing through the Galician countryside and forests, you will also find lots of services along the way, and by this I mean cafes and bars to stop and get snacks or have lunch. Also, due to the popularity of this route, many of the small churches are open by volunteers for pilgrims to visit, pray, and even get a stamp. The Camino Portuguese is the second most popular route of the Camino, and of this route, the last 100 kilometers from Tui to Santiago would be the most popular section to walk. This 119 kilometer route from Tui on the Spanish-Portuguese border we have as a 6-day walking option. As you can see, there is some nice easy-going days with under 20 kilometers, and the only challenging day is the last day to Santiago. But having said that, most people are often open to the challenge of this day. After all, they have 5 days walking done and will have found their stride. And most importantly, it is the last day walking, so people are usually eager to get to Santiago. However, should these distances be too much, we also have a short walking day option that splits this route over 9 days walking. The terrain on this route is different to the Sarria to Santiago route in that it starts out relatively flat, and as the days progress you begin to get more hills, but nothing too strenuous. As mentioned, the last day is a long day and predominantly uphill as you make your way up to Santiago de Compostela. A well-earned break when you hit the city is worth it, so you can arrive at the cathedral not so tired. A mixture of walking in the countryside, through forests and vineyards keeps the scenery interesting, and with enough services along the route for you to get snacks and find somewhere for lunch each day. For those looking to do more than 1 week on the Camino, then we also have packages for walking the full route. We can do this on any of the routes, but here I will discuss the Camino Francais, as this is the most popular route. Starting in Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port, the route is 722 kilometres to Santiago de Compostela. Our standard itinerary is 34 walking days, which doesn't include any rest days, and also includes some days around 30 kilometres. We can, however, tailor the route in regards to the distances. As you can see, we have the route broken into 8 sections, so we can easily combine just a few of these to suit your time frame, split any long days across 2 days, and add in any rest days you feel you would need. Generally, when people are walking the full route, we would recommend 2 rest days, roughly 1/3 of the way, which would be in Burgos, and then another third of the way, which would be in Lyon. This way, you don't feel like you are stopping too soon or too close to the end. Now we will discuss our recommended options for cycling. On the Camino Francais, we have split this full route into 3 manageable sections, each of 1 week long. The first section is from Roncesvalles to Burgos, with fairly easygoing days in regards to the distance, but taking into consideration the hilliness of the terrain. This route comes down from the Pyrenees to cross the hilly landscape of the La Rioja wine region to finish in the heart of Castile-Leon, the city of Burgos. This second section picks up in Burgos and goes to Ponferrada. As you will see here, there is some longer days, which again takes into consideration the flatter terrain on this section. Crossing the mostly flat Meseta, you reach the bustling city of Ponferrada, which is nestled below the castle of the Knights of Templar. The final section then picks up in Ponferrada to finish in Santiago de Compostela. This is the toughest section, as you cross the glorious mountains of Ocebrero to then traverse the hilly landscape of Galicia to reach Santiago de Compostela. These sections can be combined together if you are looking a longer trip, and we can also customise the daily distances to suit your fitness and time frame. Our next recommendation for cycling then is the Camino Portuguese coastal route, which can also be covered easily within 1 week. This route follows the coastline north from Porto to the Vigo estuary before turning inland to follow the traditional inland route to Santiago de Compostela. What makes this great for a leisurely cycling holiday is the mixture of terrain, from cycle paths to quiet country roads, coastal views intermixed with the countryside, forest and vineyards, keep the scenery ever changing as you cycle. Finally, for those looking more of a challenge, have a need for speed, we have our Camino Cycling Challenge from Pamplona to Santiago, 714 kilometres, cycled in just 8 days. This is not for the faint of heart, with an average daily distance of 90 kilometres per day. Are you up for the challenge? From Pamplona, with its backdrop of the Pyrenees, down through the northern expansive plains of Spain, before climbing Ocebrero and continuing through the Galician mountains to reach Santiago de Compostela. This challenge is not for the faint-hearted and will require training that will enable you to take on the endurance of long days of undulating landscapes as well as flat terrain with little to no shade. Okay, so I have discussed how to walk or cycle the Camino and our recommended routes. Now to get you ready for your Camino. Training is very important. However, the Camino is for all levels of fitness. Some take longer than others, but everyone gets there in their own time. Like any activity, the more training you do before you go, the better. You will appreciate it when you are there, as it will help you to really know your body and when you need to take breaks. When training, it is important to get in training on a combination of terrain. The Camino has flat and hilly terrain, so get out and train in both types to see how you cope. Take the opportunity perhaps at the weekend to get in longer walks in any national parks near where you live, or use it as a good excuse to get a short weekend trip in to somewhere you know good for walks. Training will also help you to break in your hiking shoes or boots, and it is vital that you do this before you go. Trust me, If you don't, your feet will not be happy. When out training, also wear the clothes you are planning to wear on the Camino, weather permitting, and also carry a small day pack so you can get used to this also. You can see our training plan here, and this is available in your client area. What to pack for your trip. Don't worry, we are here to help. For the Camino, we always recommend packing light. The dress code is casual, and comfort is the most important factor, both when walking or cycling, but also for relaxing in the evenings. Light layers will allow you to deal with any temperature changes, from first thing in the morning to during the day and again in the evenings. Also, some rain gear will be advisable. After all, this is the north of Spain that you will be in, and it can rain at any time of the year. A standard part of our package is our luggage transfer. What we include is 1 bag per person with a max weight of 20 kg, so more than enough for what you will need. This also allows you to not be as strict with your packing, as you won't be carrying your own luggage every day. For both walkers and cyclists, having your luggage transferred makes the day easier and more enjoyable, as you will not be literally weighed down, nor have to worry about all your possessions should you need to pop into a small shop to get a snack and have to leave your large backpack outside. So, why choose us, Follow the Camino? We care for our clients at all the stages of their Camino, before the Camino, when they are on the Camino, and after the Camino. To summarise, this is a standard part of our Camino package and provides you with your Pilgrim passport, scallop shell and luggage tags. The guidebook or roadbook will be available in the client area, and for many of the routes we also have GPX tracks. Our products. We aim to be flexible with our clients and to tailor make the packages that is right for them. We provide the best value for accommodation, taking into consideration its quality and comfort. We have a dependable luggage transfer supplier whom we have worked with over 10 years. Detailed walking notes and maps, if necessary, will be provided prior to your trip. We can also include additional items to your booking, such as airport transfers or the bike hire if you are cycling. Our local knowledge. Collectively, we have a wide range of expertise and knowledge among our team and on the ground. We have visited more than 1,200 accommodations on the Camino. We provide a 24/7 support service to our clients when they are on the Camino and have been creating great Camino holidays since 2006. Our service. We have and always work to provide a personal and reliable customer service. With our multilingual operations team, we can communicate with our suppliers in their own language. We offer free travel and transfer advice, and with our extended opening hours, make it easier for those not in our time zone to get in touch. Finally, we are also independently rated on TripAdvisor, Facebook and Google, so check out what our clients have to say there. Thank you for your time, and I do hope you find this webinar both useful and informative. As a thank you, please use the code Camino Webinar when making any new bookings to get a surprise on your Camino. If you need any details or have any questions after this webinar, you can email info@followthecamino.com.